I came on here and realized how terrible these mountains used to look. And right now this is kind of the best I have as kind of a replacement. Just kind of this jagged sloping face as opposed to what we used to have. Let's see. Like this it just looks bad. Back in Temmeros it looks fine, but that's not mountains, it's just kind of rocky hills. See, it doesn't look terrible here. Let's get out of laggy zone though. Either way, we're not here to work on the mountains, we're here to work on training. Training the, what is this called? This area. Whatever this is called. The forest. Yes, that. Boom. I need to flesh that out a little bit more. Whoa, that looks a little weird. I want to know what driving a train across that in this game would seem like. It would feel like one of those things that I just mentioned. We're gonna have to texture this eventually. Yep, wrong one. I do still want this. But maybe not stringing it all the way back here, except in this one. Okay, let's split the splines. No, that's not what I meant to do. Split the splines. There we go. Not that one. Not that one, this one. We hit this here button, and then this here button. I think we'll just leave all the track lying around until we're done. Because there may be things I want to change. Especially this. Let me take a, no, not that. Take a quick kind of go over at this. Because this is rather terrible looking, if I do say so myself. Okay, maybe I lied about that thing about keeping all the track around. Tried that in locomotion once. It just made an enormous mess. Actually, on my newer worlds, I'm still doing that. So, it's not like I tried it and it failed. It's like I tried it, it failed, and I realized it failed, but I'm still doing it. For some unthinkable reason. Let's see how that looks. Rather natural, I would assume. I wonder if the Aron guys made it, or however you pronounce that. The guys who made the game, I wonder if they made any terrain this way, or if they had more powerful tools at their disposal for doing this kind of thing. Which I don't doubt that. This is for the community. They are higher powers. They don't need to use our flimsy mortal tools. Will only slow them down. Well, that is a problem. Nah, maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe we will keep it more like this, except this bit in the middle needs to be fixed up, because it's just terrible. That, and then, wait, a little more down there, and then that. Also over here. Wait, click that, and then do that. This is going to be a quick section. I actually know what I'm doing. Although dealing with slopes is, as you guys can see, not my forte. In fact, I'm not quite sure what in this game is my forte, and I believe it to be programming off the top of my head, but programming the trains, I mean. Routing, I guess you could call it. Maybe even designing, not terraining though. It's not hard to tell that I'm not good at this. Hey. There we go. But my next dilemma, the thing that is right now, as we speak, on my mind, is what to do with the end of the river over there, how it just kind of disappears behind that mountain. I mean, it would be decently fine if it, you know, didn't look terrible. But I guess I'm just going to have it curve off to the south, south being that way, and away from the tracks, and then have it reappear down here after going down what I would assume would be a waterfall. For it to drop that much in that little space. Well, I don't know. It's not necessarily that little of space, because I mean, you could see it appear off screen and it could meander for miles before we ever saw it again. But we don't know that, because I've only built this part of the map, and the map, that if you want to see it, you're going to stick around till the end of the video, because that's when I'm going to tack it on there. The map does not show off the map, and in fact it doesn't really dictate what we're going to do. It's just kind of a rough outline, if anything at all. Which is what I did with the map with Geiger Mountains. Actually, I was unbelievably happy to discard that when I finished laying all the track. because I had all the track laid, and it was this tiny little piece of paper that I had folded up and unfolded dozens of times. It was starting to get worn at the creases, forming little tears, and then I'd keep it folded to keep it safe, and then it would get lost because it's so small, so minuscule and useless now. And now its loss isn't even of that much importance because Galgora Mountains itself is gone. I feel bad for everyone who asks about that. Like, are your maps in the download station? Is there any way I can download your maps? Can you send me a copy of your maps? I don't have them anymore. It's a shame. But I'll be sure to keep this one kicking for as long as I can. And provided that one day I finish the map, then I will release it gladly. But not until the day it's complete. Or the day that I am no longer able to support it. Then I'll seek out the file and distribute it at that point, so long as it doesn't contain any like copyrighted material. Right now it's made completely off the vanilla game, so I wouldn't fret too much about it. No. This to here. Let's see how that ends up looking. We're going to have to soften that out quite a bit, or else it's going to continue to look bad. And we also got to fix up these holes over here. Oh, missed one. Missed one. People are yelling in my house, and you can probably hear them. I apologize. Although people always apologize to me for noise in the background, and I couldn't care less. It's just something that goes on. Nope, I haven't got any control over it. If I had recorded earlier, maybe when my household is asleep and not present, then that's when I normally record. That's when I can get my peace. But I was out doing errands for most of the early afternoon. So I come home now and to deal with this. Oh well, first world problems. Lol. Lulz. I think we should cut off this ridge. Probably there. Also, I might want to patch that up as well. It's the first one. Just to, yeah, there we go. Fix any of the big holes in the ground that have developed from me doing shoddy work with the tracks. Track terraining. Patented by Bombs 321. That's right, suckers. I came up with it. Not really. A lot of people have come to me and said, "Hey, I did the technique at, you know, insert timestamp here. I did that technique on X railroad that I built." Or, "Oh, cool, I used that technique X amount of years ago," or just stuff like that. Stuff that I don't care about, so shut up. No, don't shut up, actually. I very much enjoy answering comments, unless they're trolls. No, even then I kind of like answering comments. Because trolls cannot outwit me. I am impregnable. The troll army shall fall beneath my mighty penis. Just gonna leave you guys with that. Actually, speaking of trolls, we got our first hater on the weekly timetable last week. I'm probably going to address him in a little bit more detail, maybe even read his comment aloud. But it was something like, "You're a faggot, stop," you know, just generic stuff. But, you know, whatever. This is a milestone, guys. We got our first enemy. And everyone knows that it doesn't... It's all about how many enemies you have in life. That's all that matters. Just kidding. That came out better than I expected. Actually, it kind of looks like it's a waterfall or something dropping off there. I'm gonna have to work on that. Just figured I'd fly down here and then I'm gonna fly right back up. Excuse me. I'm gonna fly right back up. And then we'll work on the other side for a bit, and then we'll come back to this side. Can't help but notice that our track is in a divot. At least it appears to be so on that side. Back we go. This is undoubtedly the map with the least creativity. Like, the least amount of creativity is right here in this part of the map. And it's April vacation. So that means I'm going to have a lot of free time on my hands. Free time to work on this mess and not make it look horrible. because it looks very, very bad. And I would like it actually leading upwards if I get my map over here. Because the town, hold on, I'm holding it upside down. The town that is in that direction is Lambeth Groves. Or, well, it's just Lambeth, but there are the Lambeth Groves off in this direction. And that's on a high plateau. That's at around 300 feet. So we need to have this sloping up to around 300 feet. What is this? If I just put a piece of track here. And then get spline height. That's 341. So that's actually too high. I need it all sloping up to that. Probably around here, would you say? Okay, higher than that. Whatever. But I'm gonna fiddle with that quite a bit. Undoubtedly. Over vacation. And I would start making some, like, super high quality videos with cuts and things, you know, the kind of stuff that takes video makers hours. But I don't want to really get your, like, hopes up or anything. Because, well, I mean, by making those. I mean, you may see one or two if I decide to put the time in, but don't expect them all the time, and don't necessarily expect them at all, because it's something that, again, takes a lot of time. It's the things that all the good video makers, like, put their heart and soul into, and waste their life. Not really waste their life, but that's what they do with their life. But that's really most important, or most accomplishable, most easily done when someone has all free time. Or not all free time, but all of their time is dedicated to making videos for a living. And I just dropped my map. Let's not crinkle it, because I gotta show you guys. Someone who does YouTube for their living, which is a surprising number of people, they will have much more free time to make videos than someone like I will, who's of course doing, not only being in school and working at school stuff, but also, well, not right now, but potentially getting a job soon, hopefully, crossing my fingers. Maybe not over vacation, although if it is over vacation, then you may not see any of those super cool videos that I just mentioned. It's kind of like smooth transition. This is going to make this so not smooth at all, but whatever, that's something else I have to work on. Just wanted to lay some track on this episode. Lay some track that I delete moments after because it's scaffolding, essentially. Tick, 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 tick. Gears are spinning in my head. But they're completely unrelated to this, so I can't really say it. It's like I'm having a conversation in my head. I talk to myself. I don't even talk. I think to myself. Well, in some cases, that's good. Because I'm thinking. And that's a quality that God knows how many people just don't have at all. Like the Scarecrow said, what did he say? God damn it. Some people without brains do an awful lot of talking. Even though that really didn't have too much of a relation to what I was saying. It's just a nice... It's one hell of a quote, certainly. And it pretty much describes every politician ever. And I'm sure you guys get it. Republican or Democrat, you know that people are just... Jesus. People are... Oh, what did I... Oh. But, you know, don't need to start any sort of political thingy here on this lovely show where we don't talk about politics or religion because we are completely fair. Yes, absolutely. I'm coming from a school where a, like, 4-decade-old school prayer banner that was a donation from one of the senior classes was taken down because it mentioned God once. The world is screwed up, people. I hate it. But this is not that kind of show. This is the kind of show where we talk about how these tracks that I'm working on right here are primarily going to be used by freight service. Long, not quite so long distance, but no-stop trains, or non-stop trains. No-stop trains. Non-stop trains down to the base of, or down to the shoreline, way down there, where the goods that you get are going to get put onto ships. And of course carted off to the many other civilizations across this great land of fill in the blank. No, please do, after you see the map. Let me know what you guys think. I mean, I'm undoubtedly going to say that after I show you guys the map. But, just want to, get you prepared, get some ideas churning in your head of this, the name for this glorious land. Apostrophe Murica. And because it is a question of the day, what you think we should name this, that means, it means that everyone gets one shot at it. Put your reply in the comments, and then I will not review them until the weekly timetable comes up on Sunday, and then at which point I will decide which one is the best, and if there aren't any good ones, then I'll just repeat that question again, oopsies, again next week. Because I do need a name for this place, and I don't quite have an idea yet. So yes, in short, yes, I will be working on this map over vacation. And so expect to see some differences primarily regarding something I just noticed, which is that from over here, you can see that. And that's not something I need people seeing. I'm probably gonna, you know, throw some mountains in over here. By mountains, I just mean these more kind of rolling hills. But that's just it. I'm going to patch the areas as they come. I'm not going to do everything anymore. And Geiger Mountains, my thing was to decorate every bit of terrain, no matter whether you could see it or not. Not for Easter eggs, just for the fact that it was there. which is not too great of a reason, I might add, in case you guys didn't pick that up from the way I was talking. Boom. Oh, that works anyways. Didn't know. Oh well. So that's some nice flat areas. They're going to be covered in trees, and the trees are going to end right about here. That's my plan. And then we're going to have this area. How about I just do this, actually? God dang it, I screwed that up. This is the first time I've actually used like other track, pretty much for anything. When I started building, I gravitated towards the US wood, or the wood track 1, or the wood 1 track, I mean. And that's what stuck with me. Just because I just like it. I think it has a very cool look to it. Very natural, rustic, kind of realistic. I mean, realism isn't necessarily that important, but it does have that quality. There's that quality going for it, so I will take that quality and use it. Boom. Now I need this. No. North. Radius, nothing, scale, as little as possible. There we go. Eraser. Excellent. There was a point in time where I had no idea that was there. It was a very sad time. Because I would misdraw something and immediately have to either Control Z or just write over it with something else. Gotta throw this out there. I've got Led Zeppelin stuck in my head. That's what I'm thinking about this whole time. It's just like droning on inside my brain. Which is, you know, all in all, not a bad thing. Could be much worse. Could be pretty much all the modern stuff. It's just terrifyingly bad. So terrifyingly bad that I feared the thought of it stuck in my head with me unable to remove it. It's just... oh my god. Grab that height. Place that height. Alright, oops, flying up here. Welcome to the rail yard at Temmeros. Alright. This area is actually fine. This area is fine, and it's fine up until... oh, where was the worst part? The worst part was actually at the beginning. This part isn't so bad, but I don't love it. This part's alright now. This part is alright now because I filled with it. This part still needs work. A decent amount of work. This part is actually alright now. And this part needs work just in the melding department. Because the way I'm blending these two together is not looking good. Needs to learn how to blend in like an assassin. Boom, 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 boom. Click, 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 click. Whoa, what was that? No. No. That button. No. Bad. No, worse. No. Control Y. Thank you. Fix my mistakes for me, computer. I will have to go over this at least with kind of a, let me do that right now. A little bit more sensitive, if you please. God, it's hard to even see the terrain moving, especially because we're moving around so slowly. Don't want to make it too much now, do we? This will be mostly hidden by trees anyway, so we won't even have to worry. We're gonna get these splines all up in there. What are these? Like the alpine, whatever's. Let me grab. Maple Beach Birch. That. But that's in scenery. That's after, after ground painting, which is after terrain. So we got that part finished. I'm going to fiddle with that, and now all we have left is the beach, which should be rather easy, just a bit time-consuming. I mean, over here everything is going to be relatively flat, and over here we may have it extend to mountains, but I doubt it. Something I'm confused on. Hold on, let me save, and then I'll show you guys the map, because I've been recording for about 40 minutes or so. If I take an area, let's say a decent size, so let's plateau this out. The reason I saved before I did this is because I'm not saving this. And then, let's say I take this displacement map. Let's use the hill, for example. I'm assuming it uses the average of the amount that we have in here as the baseline for us to start working. No, it doesn't. It uses 0. Okay, that's a problem. That's a definite problem. I was really hoping that would help, but I was really hoping it would pick whatever average is here, because I can't not. Don't save. Alright, so next thing you guys are going to see is going to be the map, so see you guys in a second. Alright, so this is the map. Can't get much of a better surface. My camera that you're looking from is actually kind of hanging on the top of the monitor, and the keyboard is propping the back of it up so that it won't just tip forward onto the map, which it may as well do while I'm recording this. I don't know yet. But let me show you what we have. This is Temmeros. This is the city we have down in the corner here. There's the river that runs past it right here, and as you can see, it crosses over the railroad tracks. This black is standard gauge. Let me move the map a little more, and then you can see it crosses over again. So we have the track work on this section built. I mean, the curves on this map are a little bit exaggerated because I wasn't quite sure how big the map was going to be. And then this right here, it has kind of an anchor figure on it. I'm not sure if you guys can see that from where you're looking. But this is Zamzib, now known as Galgora. Thank you, Supercharged. And then this red line coming up from it, this is narrow gauge. Red is narrow gauge. So it crosses over itself here, there, and then continues to this place called Lambit, which is a tree farm, forestry. And then it's a 3 under it. I know you guys can't read this because the camera is not high resolution enough, but each of the towns has a number next to it, and that is the height of the town in hundreds. So there's a 2 next to Temmeros, there's a 0 next to Zamzib, Galgora, and there is a 3 next to Lambit. So that means we have to climb 300 feet in this squiggle. And then down, or no, this is fairly level, crosses a river. It's going to be a massive, massive gorge. We're probably going to come out of a tunnel, go onto a bridge, and then go back into another tunnel. That's how big this gorge is going to be. And then we go down here to Nikieti, which is not quite coastal because it's still up at 300 feet. Even though it has ocean bordering it, those are all super steep cliffs. But that's just continuing on from Galgora. This is the whole map. We have a main line of standard gauge, goes through Temmeros, Archiro, doubles back on itself, Meest, almost doubles back on itself again, Fampton with an A, Vale, and then the main line actually continues northward through Empirique and Weiner Stowe. This kind of a secondary main line that goes south from Vale, goes through Peoria, Locks Dam, doubles back on itself, goes to Scrag Cap, which is a town at 500 feet. It's the highest town on the map, other than Cap's Junction, which is purely narrow gauge. It's purely a junction. And Olerston, sorry, I couldn't even read that. But that's not of too much concern because those are both narrow gauge towns. What worries me is we have to drop 200 feet between Cap's Junction and Sesquica, so there may be switchbacks in there. I've always actually liked building switchbacks. I've built switchbacks before, but they're a pain to program, a pain to navigate. So we have Cap's Junction. Oh yeah, through Scrag Cap, which is a major transfer. It has this standard gauge line running through it, and this narrow gauge from 3 angles coming at it, and then the standard gauge and this narrow gauge separate, go on opposite sides of a lake, and then meet up again to Mbwin, which is on the far south edge of the map. And then, of course, that'll have a portal going off of the map, so that way. There are only 3 portals on the map. There aren't any narrow gauge portals. All the narrow gauge is self-contained, but there's a portal from Temmeros, a portal from Mbwin, and a portal from Weiner Stowe. So this is, I'm going to give a base layout of geography. We have here this entire greenish section. I know it doesn't look that greenish. Shut up. But that says Lambert Groves. All of this is forested. All of this, like, basically, if you take, well, not the whole half the map, excluding this part, all of this, everything here, that's forested. That's going to have forests all over the place. Here, that is mountainous. That's all rocky. There's no grass. Well, there's a little bit of grass, not too much grass. And then here, everything from here over, that's fields. There's the clay fields and the Fempton fields, my bad. That's that. So we're going to see plains areas on this side, and that's why we have wheat production up here and wheat production at Lock's Dam. There's an ocean to, I would call this the north, but this is actually the west. There's an ocean to the west, beneath the mountains, to the west of that. Over on this side of the map, I'm not really sure. I'm assuming the continent continues, but there could also be an ocean there. I was throwing the idea around in my head of having this on kind of an isthmus between two sections of land. Maybe there's ocean around all of this area, which is why no tracks go off in that direction. But actually, this is very mountainous. There's a place called North Peak over here. Let me point out the peaks. There's North Peak. There's Farmer's Peak, which is sort of like the Lonely Mountain, middle of nowhere. You probably aren't going to see this because it's separated from all the train tracks. As I said earlier, it's not going to be something where I go about and terrain all of the stuff that you wouldn't see usually. So Farmer's Peak is in there. There's Damper Mountain, because there's the city of Damper right here. That's where the oil comes from. And then there's Draco Peak, next to Scrag Cap, and there's Caps Peak near Caps Junction. I have maps of actually most of the cities over. How can I point this so that you guys can see it? Over behind me. If I just pull up all of these. I have maps of most of the cities. For example, I have Caps Junction up here. There's to Motico, to Ollerston, and then to Susquehanna. And if I point out where that is, that's right here. So there's Ollerston this way, Motico this way, which is a big lumber yard, and then Susquehanna, which is actually nothing at all. There are very few towns on here that serve no purpose, and I tried to use as many industries as I could. What else can I say about this map? So we have ocean to the north, half groves, half fields, mountains in the middle. Mountains actually run through all here, but this is more just this is just high elevation land. It's because if you see, like, well, you can't see, but there's a 2, there's a 3, and then there's a 5. Caps is at 500. Olderson is at 500. Motico is at 400. So all of this is kind of on a giant peninsula. Actually, most of the line is at 200, except it lowers to 100 over here, and increases to 300 right in the middle at Meest, which is a big transfer station. One other thing I'd like to throw in, Lock's Dam. There's a story behind that I came up with. Lock's Dam is at 100 feet, which is very, very different from the surrounding town. Peoria at 200. Damper at 300, Fempton and Vale at 200, and then, of course, Scrag Cap at 500. So this guy's in a gully, and there was a ginormous lake here at one point, and the reason it's called Lock's Dam is a dam was built here to keep that water contained in this area and allowing a town to spring up on the sediment that was left over. A huge farming town because, of course, sediment is very, very rich in minerals. I mean, if you guys have any other questions, I'd be happy to give answers to them. But that's all I have for now. I mean, there's standard gauge main lines, 2 standard gauge main lines. This right here is a 4-track main line. Big towns are Temmeros, Embiwin, and ImperaQ. Ports are Galgora and Port Charles. Ocean to the north, don't have a name for that yet either. Ocean to the west, I mean. And then fields. So we've got a lot of everything, and if you guys can come up with a name, I'd be happy to hear it. And if it's something based on the terrain that we see around here, well then, I'd be even happier to hear it at that point. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. TradeMatt out. Thank you for watching.